Welcome to Discovering 615, the podcast celebrating the people, places, and stories that make Middle Tennessee amazing. Here's your host, Rob Thacker, realtor with eXp Realty, better known as Thack Attack 615.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Discovering 615. I'm your host, Rob Thacker, known also to some of you as Thack Attack 615 and realtor with eXp Realty here in Middle Tennessee. And today I am joined with Justyn Melendez. Thank you, Justyn, for coming on. He is the founder of Intentional Wealth. So we're looking forward to diving into finances and all things financial and grow your wealth.
Yeah.
So Justyn, thanks for coming on.
No, I appreciate you bringing me on. It's definitely a privilege to be here and be podcasted with you and your platform. I always love talking about what I do, so you give me an opportunity is amazing.
Well, that's great. And again, and also you're a veteran, correct?
I am.
So thank you. And you're still active though?
I am. I'm active reserve. You
Okay.
can say I'm in my last year window for my medical retirement. So April 2026, I will be done.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service too.
Yes. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So let's just get a little personal background. How did you end up in Nashville, Tennessee?
So 3 years ago, or almost 3 years ago, I had a little bit of a life change where I grew up in Paducah, Kentucky. I was looking for change, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And I've always loved Nashville. And my end goal is to be down south. I wouldn't say Miami, South Beach, maybe Fort Lauderdale, West Palm. That's where I want to be. But I just wanted to kind of go a little bit more south, find a city that I knew that would, give me the opportunity to kind of share my knowledge of what I've learned, in my lifetime. And Nashville is growing. It has been growing.
Oh, yes.
And for what I do specifically, the opportunity was there. So I chose Nashville. And it's been great ever since.
So what got you, so you moved to Nashville, what got you into the financial field? I mean, and what inspired you to focus on wealth building? Because I know when I follow you on Instagram, you talk a lot about wealth building, personal wealth building. Yes. So what got you involved with that area?
Yeah, that question gets asked to me all the time. And just for the listeners out there, we all have life experiences. All of us different life experiences. And I would say the most common one, though, that we can find commonality is poverty or some kind of scarcity of money. And I grew up in that kind of lifestyle. I had multiple different families that I lived with. And every family that I was with at the time still all struggled with the same thing, and it was money. But they had different ways of going about it. And I just knew for me, something finally clicked during COVID. That's when my journey really started, because I found myself making the same mistakes as my family was doing, and it just wasn't working. And then when COVID happened, it shut the world down, and it gave me the opportunity to think and really try to figure this out. It gave us the time to focus on something else besides societal pressures and work and things that we had to get done. So I know it sounds terrible. I hate what happened during COVID, but it was also a blessing for me because it did open my eyes to a whole nother lifestyle. And a friend of mine during that time introduced me to Grant Cardone.
Okay, yeah.
And not personally, he just about the man. And so I started, following him a little bit, read the 10X rule, went to the 10X growth conference, and just met some very interesting people. And the first event that I went to, I just got the bare minimum ticket. That's all I could afford at the time. And I was sitting at a table during the lunch, and there was a gentleman. You can tell this man was made of money, just the way he was dressed.
Yeah.
But he was so down to earth,
right,
and open. So I just started having a conversation with him, and he was like, "Hey, I really like you," because just based off of the questions I was asking him. And he was like, "There's a VIP party tonight, and I think I can get you in."
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, "What? Great. Like, I would love that. Appreciate it." And I knew when I got to that party, like there was probably maybe 80 to 100 individuals there, and they all knew what they were doing. And I knew for me, I just had this gut feeling that was like, Justyn, this is your opportunity to ask the questions that everyone needs an answer to. And so I just took advantage of it. And I started asking questions like, what are you doing with your money? Like, are you doing a 401k? Are you doing the Roth IRA? Like, is your money in the stock market? And, a lot of the answers that I was getting was no. A lot of them were saying, we started the same way, but we found out like true wealth is built in other ways. It's how we move our money consistently throughout our lifetime. It's about positioning instead of saving money, we're positioning, making sure every one of our dollars is making money. And I was just taking notes and just taking it all in. And one of the friend at the time, he's like, how was your experience? And I said, well, you're going to regret it because I'm going to share everything I've learned here to the world. And that was my mission. It's like everyone needs to know that there is another way to play this game. And 99% of our population plays it one way. And it's based off of the rules that those individuals set for us. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm going to share it. I'm going to teach it. I'm going to do it myself and implement it. And ever since I started doing that, like my life changed drastically.
Wow.
And there's nothing, I guess at the beginning, there's nothing wrong with putting your money in a self-directed, or not even a self-directed, but just a Roth IRA. Like I still like those, right? Just to get in. 401ks, I have my own personal opinions on, but I still think there's a starting point for everybody, but learning how money actually worked is what changed my entire life. And it was those individuals openly telling me these things because I asked the right questions that really opened my eyes to another side of this world. And, I definitely blessed that I got that opportunity. And that's really what set me on this journey and on this path.
That's awesome. That's great. So let me ask you this, because it sounds like, your goal is to help people, advise people. So what foundational steps then, when you talk to someone else, like if you're talking to me or a client or something like that, what is the foundational steps that you recommend for someone to begin building this wealth building journey?
Yeah. We can talk about techniques and strategies all day, but I learned this the hard way myself because I tried to just jump right into it, but my mind wasn't ready for it. So I now say the last 3 years, when I do these teachings or, these workshops or these one-on-ones, I need to know that your financial mindset is where it needs to be before we ever start, putting these into play and implementing this into your life. Because you look at statistically showing between pro athletes and people that win the lottery, like the majority of them go bankrupt. Right? Well, it's because the mindset's not there. They weren't ready to receive that wealth.
Okay.
So the same bad habits that they had before, now they're going to have them here in the future with all of this money, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Well, we have to make sure the mind is ready for that kind of money, for that kind of lifestyle.
Okay.
So that would be the first step. It's your financial mindset.
So what do you find interesting? Because you're talking about mindset, and then I heard something you said earlier about, you made the comment about people saving money instead of money making money. Is that part of that mindset that okay.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that, because that's fascinating.
Right. So we call it positioning money instead of saving money. I call it the financial ninja assassin.
Okay.
And that is called inflation. Inflation. We don't feel or notice inflation until it's too late. When things start to skyrocket and we're like, oh my gosh, it costs this much for eggs now, right? I looked at these little biscuit, the layers that you can get, the little small ones. I remember they were like 79, 89 cents for one. Now they're $1.99 for this, right? So I'm like you don't notice it because the life just changes as you go on. And if your money is not keeping up with inflation, well, then it's losing buying power. It's losing value over time. So I like to position money where I'm at least making above the rate of inflation. And I still have access to it when I need it. And that's such things like high interest accounts. But I don't like high interest accounts that lock your money for a certain amount of time.
Right.
So I'm not a big CD fan at all. But things like Betterment is a good one. Or obviously in the crypto world now, there's some places you can safely position your money that's going to get you about 4 to 4.5%, and you still have access to it. That's what I mean by positioning instead of saving.
Right.
We've been programmed to believe that we need to have this nest egg in that savings account. And it's it's for the bank. The bank is making money off that. We're not making money off of that, right? So I don't keep much money in the bank. Like my money is distributed out either investments or it's in a high interest or in crypto. And if I need to pay bills, I'll move money to pay the bill.
Okay.
Like, so
Interesting.
At every point of my life, every minute that is moving, my money is making money.
Gotcha.
And that's what I mean by
that makes sense. So talk about a little bit, because you've mentioned it, and you and I have had discussions at lunch about what are some of the let's talk a little bit about the cryptocurrency, because I know there are a lot of people out there, they're hearing this in the news, and either, as we say, headlines can either terrify or clarify, and they choose, I think, more so terrify than clarify. So we need to clarify some of these things, and they hear crypto. Crypto is almost like the boogeyman for financial, as AI is the boogeyman for technology. People are like, oh, I don't, So where's your take on crypto? What do you see down the road if you had a crystal ball about crypto? And I know this is just one piece of that pie we're talking about, but for the viewers out there and those that are listening.
Yes. So just to let everybody know, this is not financial advice.
Yeah.
I need to put that on record. What I'm about to tell you is what I do personally and what kind of got me into it. Again, it started with my mindset on kind of really thinking about what was really going on behind the scenes. And you got to think, every time that we print money, they use that word print. And every time they say print, they'll show commercials on TV of sheets of $100 bills at a factory. So it makes you think that they're actually printing money. Well, we haven't printed money in, I would say, almost 20 years, maybe a little bit longer. And what we've done is that when we need money, we type it into a computer, we press enter, and then poof, that money automatically exists. What do we call that? That's digital currency. We've been doing this for years. But what we are seeing, or what we see on TV, what we have tangible are dollar bills, right? So we think that we're actually in the factory cutting sheets of $100 bills, but that's not what we're doing. We've been in digital currency for a long time. There's other countries that have been way more advanced and ahead of us on this. And I think personally, my personal opinion on that is because in order to adopt something like this, to make it favorable for everyone and be like, this is the new norm, the government has to have full control over it. And they just haven't had that yet. So of course, like you said, they're going to create fear first, and then they're going to adopt and implement it, right?
Gotcha.
When they have full control over everything. And that's kind of where we're moving to right now. There are obviously, the fear of everyone is that you see all of these thousands of coins that you can invest into, and you hear success stories, and then you hear bad stories, right? I tell people, don't fall for that. Do not fall for that. There are individuals out there, especially the younger generation, that know how to do it, but it's a very small percentage of people that do that. Okay, the majority of the ones that think they can or try to, they get wrecked and they lose, and that causes bad publicity around the cryptocurrency space. So things like Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin for a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Bitcoin has been around for a long time, for a very long time. And it has now been identified as the new digital currency, right? So you can buy fractions of the coin, knowing that what the government is doing with Bitcoin, that would be a safe bet to maybe position some money into, right? The popularity is there. The government backing is there. Around the world is using it. So that tells me that's more of a safe bet to start positioning some money into. Then you have things like Ethereum, right? XRP, XLM, Solana, Binance. Like there's different ones, but the utilization of these coins, that's what you need to pay more attention to, is how are they going to be used in the future? How are they being used now? Like what are they doing to be a part of the future, right? And when you start doing the education, the research around that, you're going to find out that there's very few of those coins that make sense to even, invest and put money into on that. It just takes a little bit of time, but don't get carried away or get, I'd say, blindsided by all these other coins that you hear individuals making millions off of. Those success stories are maybe 0.1% of our population that are actually doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, would say.
So do you have any recommendations if someone is going to get into the cryptocurrency aspect? Do you have any recommendations on which coin to look at? Or
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely give recommendations. I can just tell you what I'm doing myself,
okay.
right? I was a little late to the game when it comes to
Mhm.
Bitcoin itself. Obviously, you're looking at a 108 to, I think it jumped up again today over 110,000 per coin. Like I mentioned, you can still buy fractions of the coin,
Right.
right, until you get up to that point. But there's other interesting coins too that are going to play a big part in what's to come, especially
Mhm.
with AI and all technology speaking, um, like XRP. Right,
Right.
XRP is one that had a lot of bad publicity at the beginning, and but if people go back and see what happened before the lawsuit, XRP was the second largest coin
Mm.
in market cap. It was the second largest coin. Ethereum was number three. Right, that lawsuit happened. Ethereum popped up. XRP had a 4-year delay, and then they finally won, and now they're number three. Right,
Mm.
so there's a lot of utilization of what's going to happen with XRP into the banking scheme of things. Right, that's more on the banking side, and they are buying up businesses to be a part of this ecosystem. So that's something to look into. I personally invest in XRP.
Mm-hmm.
XLM is another one. It's another Ripple company. So Ripple owns XRP and XLM. But that's another one that's also in the transactional space with XLM. I invest in that personally. There's things like VeChain that's more for blockchain kind of
Okay.
things, transactions. Um, that one's fairly new, but I did have a friend of mine that kind of talked to me about VeChain and what that's going into. So I definitely do your own research on that one.
Right.
Um, Solana is a good one. I have not invested personally in Solana yet. I will. And then obviously there's Ethereum. I don't have anything in Ethereum. I think that my personal opinion in Ethereum, yes, it has some utilization. It just costs too much money to
Mm.
make sense. But I know with their layer 2, they're trying to bring down costs and things like that. But it still doesn't outperform me personally with XRP. So I just don't invest into
Right.
it. But I would say for starters, looking at a coin right now, you're saying anywhere from $2.50 is XRP. XLM's around the 30 to 40 cent range. So those are ones to kind of get into
Gotcha.
that are more safe bets right now. But I would say that's what I personally invest into. But
Mhm.
before you look into it or put any money into the crypto space, definitely do your own research.
Do your own research.
Yeah.
That's important. Do your own
Yes.
research, folks. Do your own research.
Yes, for sure.
So, well, what besides? So, but you mentioned earlier, the 401ks, the Roth, I think is what you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The obviously stocks, cryptocurrency. What about real estate in terms of, again, to having this wealth building? What are you seeing right now in real estate, in the real estate market? Of
Yes,
course, the real estate market's, me being in it, it's crazy.
Yes.
A little bit crazy right now.
It is a little crazy because of all the uncertainty.
Right.
It's a lot of playing factors into that. We have going on. We have this tariff war that's going on. We have this bond issue with our treasury. Like we don't know what's going to happen. So people are a little scared,
Mm-hmm.
and they have every right to be. I get it, but we also know that real estate's not going anywhere.
Right.
So if you can weather the storm, you're going to be profitable long term, especially in Nashville. Like,
yes.
you think that the last 10 years of Nashville's growth was it? Like that was just stage one of what's coming.
Exactly.
And so what I tell people, I obviously don't tell them to invest into real estate, but it is definitely a strategic position play for your money, right? I love the position part, right? Because yes, it can be risky. That's more of the investment side, is more of risk. Position, there's really no risk involved. But in real estate, depending on location, there is very minimal risk, because you will be profitable in the long term as long as you can weather the storm on that. So I've always been pro real estate. When I say about Roth IRAs, I'm more say favorable towards self-directed accounts. So there's self-directed Roth IRAs and there's
Mhm.
self-directed solo Roth 401ks.
Okay.
That gives you more flexibility to invest your money in other areas besides the stock market.
Yeah.
So a lot of my clients, what I've done, family, friends, things like that, they all have self-directed accounts. And you can invest into crypto. You can invest in the stock market if you want
Gotcha.
to. You can invest into real estate. You can buy businesses with it. You can do almost anything that's a qualified investment in that. There's some restrictions when it comes to like collectibles, rugs, art, things like
Mhm.
that you can't do. But for the most part, like anything that's an investment, a qualified investment, you can use these accounts for. So it just gives you more flexibility.
Okay.
I like flexibility. I like access to my money.
Right.
The least amount of control the government has over my future, especially when we're talking about retirement,
Yeah.
that's what I want. I want them to have the least control over my assets and everything. So self-directed accounts, they give you that flexibility
Gotcha.
for that. But besides that, like when it comes to real estate, for me personally, I when it comes to like tangible real estate and
Mhm.
me buying something and me managing it, I've never got into that space in that sense. Like I've been in other investment opportunities
Right.
of me just providing capital and then getting a return.
Mhm.
I like that because I can do it in different levels of, say, capital. They
Right.
need larger capital, I get good returns. If I have lower capital, I get good returns. And the one I just did was a oh my goodness, oh, what is it called? Why I'm drawing a blank here. Anyway, it will come to me.
Yeah.
It will come to me. But I gave, I think, 3,500 towards this investment. It was 3,950 is what I gave to this investment. It was a 60 day turnaround, and I made 30% on it.
Wow.
Right. So I have these relationships that I've built with these
Mm.
individuals that are in the real estate game that just need small capital, big capital at certain times, and I don't like anything beyond a year. So if I can get something within 3
Yeah.
months, 6 months, or 12 months, that's where I want to stay.
Gotcha.
And that's how I personally grow my money at a very high rate.
Mm.
It's not one investment making me 15, 20%. It's multiple investments throughout the year
Right.
that get me 15 to 20%. So if I do that 3 times, I'm making anywhere from, say, 45 to 60% on my dollar.
Right.
Right. So, and a little history is the original origin word for currency is curren, a Latin term that means to move fast.
To move fast. Oh, that's a great point.
Right. So where did we get away from moving our money fast? Like somewhere it got lost in translation, that we feel like it's more safe and comfortable to just let money sit.
Yeah.
And that's not what it was initially invented for.
Gotcha.
It was to move. That's what we should be doing with our money.
Gotcha. That's a great point. I never thought about that before. A little Latin history there, folks. There you go. There you go. Think about currency and current. That makes sense. So how do you? So let's come back to it because you mentioned different things. How is there a balance? You mentioned the self-direct, which is fascinating to me because I've never thought of it. No, I don't think that's the first time I've heard of that. Mm-hmm. I think, well, in our discussions, we've talked about it too. Right. And so talk a little bit, I know I kind of touched on it, but talk a little bit more about how do you get involved with that? Mm-hmm. Was that, I think you broke down something. Yeah. It allows you to control your money instead of someone else. Correct?
Correct. So with these kinds of specific accounts, to set them up, someone themselves individually can set it up through a custodian, right?
Okay.
So you have like, say, Equity Trust is a big company that does that for you. You can get in touch with them. They can do it. I have a partner of myself that when it comes to rollovers, that people have, traditional accounts and they're looking to get more opportunities in other areas, he'll definitely help on setting those accounts up, rolling the money over, and showing them how to invest. Now, he is the financial advisor in our setup in our company.
Right.
I'm more of the financial architect, which is my title. So I kind of structure everything out to be more advantageous when it comes to taxes, when it comes to growth and access. That's usually what I'm looking at. That's where my biggest focus is. And you have the most control over the account by saying, hey, I want to invest in this. The custodian is to actually invest it for you. You just find the opportunity to do it, right? or the account that you have set up, right? So if you have like cryptocurrency and you have your bank account linked up with that 401, that solo 401 or that self-directed Roth, you can have money moved in there, invest, and move it back, right? The only thing that changes is the flexibility to move the money back and forth, right? The other requirements are the same. So you can only put $7,000 into your IRA per year. So
Right.
you're capped and limited on that. Your solo 401k, you can put more into that, but a big chunk of it is on the Roth side, but then there's also a traditional side, so you have to keep that in mind. But it's more about flexibility for me. But they're not that hard to set up, and they're not that expensive either. When I look at management fees from a financial advisor compared to what it costs to have these accounts set up and what the annual fee is per year, you're saving money.
Wow.
You're saving money. On a long-term basis, you are saving money on this. So I've seen accounts be set up for $150, then you pay $200 a year just to keep them open on that. So I'm very pro when it comes to those accounts. And I think the reason why before talking with me, you didn't hear it is because it's not advertised.
Yeah.
I guess if you saw what's going on with Trump right now, he mentioned having the ability to use your traditional 401ks and other alternative investments. That's what he's trying to push. Well, the reason is because more money has been rolled into self-directed accounts the last few years, which is taking control away from the government.
Yeah.
So now they want more control. They're going to give you flexibility to do this with your traditional accounts. It's like dangling that carrot.
Yeah.
Take this just to keep you in their system. Even with that being said, I still would move my money to a self-directed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And I mean, the stock market's been good for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the last 10 years, it's been great. Like you should have gotten a chunk of money if you've positioned and moved your money around through the stock market, but that's not always the case. My biggest fear when it comes to the stock market is that when I'm ready to retire, when that time comes, when I hit 59 and a half years old, does the market decide to crash on me?
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear. I have no control over that.
Right.
I can put some things in place to mitigate the loss, but I'm still going to take a loss. And I don't want that. So I like to, as you get closer to that age, but I do it very early on, I am more concerned on consistent growth over time. I want my compounding to be uninterrupted.
Gotcha.
And there's several different ways you can do that in alternative investments. You can do that in life insurance. So I use all of these different strategies and structures to make sure that I have uninterrupted compounding interest throughout my lifetime. So when everyone else is making, they're making 20, 25% here, and I'm not making that consistently.
Right.
If I'm making 15 to 20% consistently with no downturn, like my money's going to grow a lot faster than you.
Right.
Even with all your gains that you had in the last 10 years. The next 10 years, is that going to be the same? Absolutely not.
No.
It's not. It can't, because the market has to correct itself. So
right. Yeah.
So there's just little things like that. I like consistent growth. Those accounts give you that because you get other access to other opportunities besides just the stock market. Real estate's one of the biggest plays. Data centers is another big play that we just got into, which is it's crazy when you talk about return. I'm not going to talk about returns on this one yet, but if someone is interested, I can definitely talk to you one-on-one on that. But it is insane what you can get out of the data centers and where our world is going to. AI, just to hit a little bit on AI, we already see it. We see how it's working in our lives right now, but AI is about to reinvent every aspect of our life. Everything.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
I think you and I talked about that last week at lunch when we had lunch together.
Yes, we did. And it's scary to think about, but it's also exciting. The thing is that we can't stop it. It's here. It's going to grow. And if you're not trying to learn it, it's going to be way worse than the .com era with internet, right? Like you can push back so long that I don't need to use this and you'll be fine. But if you're not using AI, like you're going to have major problems from yourself. You're going to make it a lot harder. So my advice to everyone listening is to start learning AI, even the basic knowledge of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
The basic knowledge of it. And I would say basic is Chat GPT.
Yeah.
That would be the basic line. I give you an example for my kids. My oldest daughter, she's in middle school now, and she had a math problem that she was trying to figure out. And I haven't been in school forever, and if you've seen one of my last posts on my social media, like I wasn't the best student at all. I knew numbers, love numbers, basic numbers, like because I knew that pertained to life.
Right. Yeah.
But there's like different things that I just didn't get in math. I just didn't really pay attention to, and one of them being like not just fractions, but fractions with money. Right? They're talking about cost of something, but there would be like it'd be like 3 3/4 cost of this, and I'm like, look, we don't operate that way. Like if I go to the store, it does not say $1 something. Like it doesn't. There's no fraction there. It's a decimal.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So like,
it's
I was like, why?
a dozen eggs at $8 is $4.
Right,
you know,
right.
4.25. It's like you don't see the half.
Yeah. So I'm like, so I start looking. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to try. I know I can do it. I'm just not going to try. But I'm going to show her how to do this. So I was like, baby, copy this verbatim into ChatGPT and tell Chat to break this down at your level. So tell them you are 12 years old, you're in this grade, and you need help or assistance on how to break this problem down so you understand it at your level. And Chat did it.
Yeah.
And he did it way better than how I would have explained it to her because my mind works differently.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So I love it for that aspect. That's the basic way to use it. That's more efficient. That's going to make things a lot easier. But it didn't just give her the answer. It broke it down so simplistically that she now knows how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved. So like use it for those purposes. But if you're trying to ask Chat questions about everything, just know that it is still fairly new and we are the one who updates it on accurate information. So sometimes it can be wrong.
Yes.
Like, one of my strategies is, teaching people how to pay their children through a company structure that allows them to save on taxes and keep the money.
I think I saw that you did a reel on that recently, didn't you? Yeah, that was fascinating.
And with that, I asked Chat, like, Chat, how much can I pay my children per year? And I already know the answer to this, but one of my friends said, asked it because it's wrong. So so I did that, and it said 14.5. Well, it's not 14.5. It's actually 15,000. So I had to correct Chat and let Chat know, like, hey, look at this, update yourself. It's 15,000 for 2025. And it did that. And it said, it thanked me.
Yeah.
So thank you, Justyn, for correcting me. I see that now.
Yeah.
It's 15,000. I'll update my system. So it needs us for those things too. So I would say about 97% of the time it's right. 33% can be questionable.
Yeah.
But for those basic needs like that, recipes, nutritional diets, like just little things like that. Workouts. Just put in your body frame. You're a male. You weigh this much. You're this age, and there's your goal. How can you break this down for me? Boom. It will do it.
Yeah.
It's like use it for those reasons. Learn how to use it for those reasons, and I'm telling you, it's going to help.
Well, and then you've got to go out, and the difference between then ChatGPT and a coach is then you've got to take the initiative to take what it says, for example, the workout thing, and go out and do it yourself. Otherwise, you're going to ChatGPT is going to tell you, but you can go and hire a coach to tell you to do it. But go out there and have the self-discipline to do it yourself. Yeah,
correct. Yeah, a lot of it you still have self-discipline. Chat's not going to do it for you physically. It's just going to tell you what to do. So that's
Exactly. Well, let me ask you this, Justyn, and beginning to wrap some things up. What is one key move someone today could make? Would you recommend that they would to positively impact their financial future?
Okay. I love that question, and I do get that asked a lot. And just kind of going back to the financial mindset part, okay? The financial mindset is just step one. There's financial IQ for step two, financial structure, step three, financial friends is step four, and financial opportunities is step five. Okay? In that order.
So repeat those steps again. Step one is
financial mindset.
Number two,
financial IQ.
Okay.
Financial structure.
Okay.
Financial friends.
Okay.
And then financial opportunities.
Okay, great.
In that order. So as you get past the mindset, now we're talking about financial IQ. So first step on doing that is that you have to identify your current flow of money. What is coming in, what is going out, and what is left. All right. And that's the biggest thing. People, these have to be accurate numbers, especially on what's going out. It's easy to know what's coming in, but what's going out is the hard one, because people forget about the coffee that they buy on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Or the pack of cigarettes. I mean, they say, oh, I only buy 2, but they really buy 3. Like, we really have to start dissecting these things so we understand how much money you are actually spending on a monthly basis. Bills, we know those are our current lifestyle expenses, right? But then there's miscellaneous expenses that we have that we just don't think about.
Yeah.
Right?
And that miscellaneous section in the budget is like a black hole, financially speaking.
It is. I was at church yesterday, and my pastor talked about just showing statistics, because the topic right now is spiritual finances, right? The financial spiritual journey of things. And he mentioned, statistically showing that 110% of people, the majority of our population lives on 110% of our money, of our paycheck, when you say that, right? So we only get 100% of our paycheck, but he added the extra 10% because we have credit cards and other ways to get more money that we just can't afford, right? But it's so easy to get, we'll use it with no intentional plan on how to pay that money back. And I posted a reel, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that talked about TD Banks. TD Banks has this new commercial on how you can get your paycheck 2 days early, so you can take your son out to the movies for 2 hours of enjoyment and entertainment. So and I took it as, so we're advertising now that it's okay to spend money we don't have. The fact that you can't take your son to the movie theaters to go watch a movie because you need an advancement on your paycheck that's yet to come, and we're saying this is this good thing and we're celebrating it. That's the trap. That's the loop that people get trapped in. And I know that you would not need credit cards or anything like that if you knew exactly how much money you were spending on a monthly basis.
Wow.
Because if we can identify that, then we know what's left. And then we can start working with that. And I can show you how to make that money go make money. And you still have access to it. Right? And even if there's not anything left, well, then that means we need a side business. That means that you're going to have to work a little bit extra harder for a short period of time, say a year, maybe 2 years, just to get your money up a little bit. But those are small sacrifices for long-term gain.
Gotcha.
Right? Everyone's trying to reach that 59 and a half, 60 to retire, and most can't retire until 65, sometimes 70. And we're wasting all of this time. And I'm like, listen, if you do it right at the beginning, we can get this in 7 and 10 years. You don't have to be a millionaire to retire.
Right.
Financial freedom is not a number exactly. You can't put, 5 million, now I'm financially free. I know people that are financially free that make $100,000 a year. Why? Because their passive income is now contributing towards their current lifestyle expenses. The passive income is taking care of that. So everything else is just kind of extra for them. That's where true financial freedom comes in. When you can convert your ordinary income to passive income as quick as possible, and it covers the lifestyle expenses per month, you've made it. You've made it. And it's a lot easier to achieve than most people think.
Gotcha.
But that would be step one in financial IQ, is identifying your current flow of money. What's coming in, what's going out, what's left.
Gotcha. Step one.
Financial
IQ.
Yep.
It's plain and simple.
It is. It really is. And I started helping. I did this so long for free, Rob. I did this, I've been down this journey for 5 years. I told you my journey started in 2020 during COVID. And for the first 2 years, obviously I implemented it in my life personally. And then I started just teaching other people how to do it. And I did this for free for almost 2 years. And I hardly got anybody to take me seriously at the beginning. And then when I put a price tag on it, it's like, here they come. It was just weird. And there was a little bit of guilt there, because I was like, I wanted to help as many people for free as I could, but just people didn't take it serious. And one of my mentors told me, a long time ago, I just didn't listen, was that, if it's free, it has no value. And I was like, I wanted to prove him wrong when he said that. That's why I still decided to do it for free. But he was right. He was right. And I find that people take my lessons, my strategies, the things that we put in place a lot more serious when there's a price on there. And, I started that with Intentional Wealth, turned it into a mastermind. We have a group of investors, people that are willing to learn, that we all invest together on certain opportunities. But it comes a lot of education for them, community and investment opportunities. Yeah. And yes, there's an annual price to be a part of that, but you get your money back when it comes to the education you learn, the investments we get into, and it becomes well worth it, because after that, like, I get it to a point where you no longer need me. That's where I want to be. That's where I want that person to be. I want to teach you everything that you can do it yourself, where you don't depend on someone else to do this for you. Yeah. And, it's been great since we've done it. So I'm just looking forward to see what the next 5 years brings.
That's awesome, man. So where can people reach you, Justyn?
You reach me on Instagram. My personal page is Melendez Justyn on there. I post a lot about just, different ways to position, invest your money, what you need to be thinking about, what's coming. So, definitely check me out on there. I'm also on Facebook, and I'm on TikTok as well. And my website we're still working on. So it's going to be more of a landing page. I don't really need to put much on a website, but everyone keeps saying
with social media now. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like my Instagram is my website.
There you go.
But yeah, you can definitely reach me out on there, and we can if you want to get together, grab coffee, whatever it is. Yeah,
you'll do it.
And I'm also, just to let you know, I'm also going to start. Obviously, we have a little bit of time left of some good weather, but I've started golfing, obviously.
Nice.
And what I'm wanting to do is, invite a few people to golf with me, and more like business owners and investors, where I can show them these strategies, but I'll share a lot of tips during our golf session.
Nice.
And then you can learn a lot. Just come golf with me. So
there you go. Golf with Justyn. All right, man.
Be good.
Well, brother, thanks for coming on.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
And everyone, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, and God bless.